Gold was supposed to be safe. Then the doors locked. The offices emptied. And people who thought they owned silver discovered they owned nothing but screenshots. In Shenzhen's Shuibei market, merchants rushed to collect their metal, only to find police outside and delivery promises turning into silence. Some had 1 ton of silver trapped in unpaid orders. Others had poured in millions of yuan, chasing tiny margins of 0.01, 0.2, even 0.3 yuan per gram. The bait looked harmless. Pay first, receive later. Wait 3 days, maybe 5, maybe a week. Then the supplier vanished. One woman could barely stand as she begged for her money back, saying her heart condition had returned. This was not one bad company, it was a chain reaction, and the next collapse was already forming. Shuibei is not an ordinary jewelry district. It covers about 3.5 square kilometers in Shenzhen's Luohou district, yet it holds more than 7,000 gold, silver, and jewelry businesses. Its annual transactions exceed 300 billion yuan, and many necklaces and bracelets sold through major retail channels begin somewhere inside this crowded network. To outsiders, Shuibei looks like strength. Glass counters, bright lights, vaults, packed storefronts, gold moving from hand to hand like water. But behind that machine, a dangerous habit had taken root. Traders no longer always exchanged cash for metal on the spot. Many deals ran on deposits, delayed delivery, and verbal trust. A buyer could lock a price today and receive goods later, using leverage that often reached 20 to 50 times. That sounds efficient. It also meant one missing delivery could break an entire chain. When silver prices moved fast, when cash ran short, or when one supplier disappeared, everyone below them suddenly discovered their inventory was just a promise. And promises do not weigh 1 gram. The whole market depended on a simple belief. If a supplier had a storefront, a reputation, and familiar faces behind the counter, the metal would arrive. That belief became the weakness. Because in Shuibei, trust did not just support the market. It replaced custody. And once custody disappeared, the safest asset in the room became the easiest thing to fake. The panic became visible in July. Several precious metal businesses in Shuibei hit payment crises almost together. One name spreading through trader circles was Zhenfu International. According to affected merchants, the company vanished with more than 1 billion yuan involved. One trader from Henan reportedly lost 6 million yuan in a single blow. Think about that number. If a person earned 50,000 yuan a month, recovering 6 million yuan would take 10 years before expenses. For many small and mid-sized traders, this was not a bad investment. It was their life's work, compressed into one transfer. Then came another shock. Traders heard of a 140 million yuan forward purchase collapse. Soon after, another supplier was said to involve 2 billion yuan. The numbers were no longer retail losses. They were industrial-scale holes opening under a market built on trust. The trap was simple. A supplier would operate normally at first. Orders arrived, deliveries went out, buyers relaxed. Then, larger payments followed, because the relationship looked proven. Some traders were chasing fractions of a yuan in price advantage. The other side was waiting for enough principal to pile up. By the time victims noticed delays, offices were already empty. People visited addresses where silver suppliers had once operated and found blank rooms, cleared desks, and no metal. The old rule returned too late. If you pay, take delivery immediately. If delivery is delayed, your money may already be gone. The warning spread across the market. Avoid forward deals. Avoid unusually cheap quotes. Avoid anyone selling gold, platinum, or silver below market without a clear source of profit. A business must earn from price, processing, or service. If no profit exists, the discount may be the trap. That was the lesson. But by the time Shuibei learned it, ordinary buyers were already inside the same machine. One smaller case showed how the damage reached people far outside the trader circles. On July 9th, Media reported the story of a woman surnamed Chen from Fujian. She had found a silver trading company called Kaifei Dao on Douyin. It had a physical store in Shuibei, visible customers, and enough public activity to appear credible. That is what made it dangerous. Fraud does not always look like a dark room and a fake logo. Sometimes it looks like a busy shop. Sometimes it has receipts. Sometimes it answers messages until the exact moment it cannot. After watching the business for a while, Chen paid more than 70,000 yuan online for silver bars. She did not immediately take the metal away. Instead, she left it stored at the shop, hoping to sell later if silver prices rose.
It felt convenient. It also removed the only protection she had.
Then came July 7th. A notice appeared in a WeChat group. The company said it had paid deposits upstream but had not received the goods. Because of that, it claimed it was short of funds and could not deliver products or issue refunds. The list grew fast. Around 150 victims registered in a rights protection group. The largest single claim reached 9 million yuan. The smallest was 6,000 yuan. Based on the registration list, reporters estimated total losses among those consumers at 65 million to 72 million yuan. For the victims, the explanation did not matter as much as the result. The money had moved. The metal had not. And nobody at the bottom of the chain could pull it back. The company behind Chen's silver bars was Shenzhen Kaifei Dao Jewelry, a sole proprietorship limited liability company. Its legal representative, Tang Rui, told reporters his firm had also been caught. He said funds had been sent to an upstream wholesaler, Yinyangshu Jewelry and Jade Store, through deposits and final payments. According to Tang, transfers exceeded 40 million yuan. He said that on July 6th, he went to the agreed location to collect goods after paying, but the products never arrived. After repeated delays, the case was reported to police. Tang provided records showing 26 transfers between June 6th and July 5th, 2026. Each transfer ranged from 100,000 yuan to 2 million yuan. In a customer group, he said all orders were prepaid purchases for physical silver raw material, and that the company only earned normal trade service fees. But victims heard one thing clearly. Their money had gone upstream, and the metal had not come back down. That is the nightmare of a chain market. Each person believes the person above them has the goods. Each company believes the upstream supplier will deliver. Each buyer believes the store will make it right. Then one link breaks, and everyone discovers they were not holding metal. They were holding exposure to someone else's failure. Kaifei Dao was not the beginning. It followed a far larger explosion that had already shaken Shuibei. On January 18th, a major gold pricing platform called Jware suddenly could not process withdrawals. More than 3,000 people were reportedly waiting in line. Customers could no longer reach the legal representative or management. The central figure was a man known online as Diamond A10, linked to Shenzhen Jware Jewelry. The platform had turned gold, traditionally seen as a stable hedge, into something closer to a leveraged betting machine. Customers did not need to buy full gold bars. They could pay a deposit of more than 20 yuan per gram and bet on whether gold prices would rise or fall. Since 1 gram of gold was worth several hundred yuan, that small deposit controlled exposure many times larger. That was the hook. If customers guessed correctly, the platform paid the difference. If they guessed wrong, they were told they would lose only the deposit. Deals could settle the same day. The platform claimed to charge no fees. To inexperienced users, it looked fast, simple, and low risk. But people familiar with financial markets saw a different structure. Real futures exchanges match buyers and sellers while earning transaction fees. This platform was accused of participating directly, turning customer funds into a betting pool. When new money could no longer cover old obligations, the machine stopped. On January 18th, it failed. Only then did many users learn their funds had allegedly never entered the real gold market. Instead, the money was said to have flowed into personal accounts and been spent, moved, or misused. The damage was enormous. On May 6, 2026, authorities in Luohu announced that the actual controller, Deng Junting, had been arrested. The case involved about 13.3 billion yuan and affected more than 100,000 people. Then came the insult after the injury. A proposed compensation plan offered some investors only 20% of their principal. A person who had put in 400,000 yuan might receive just 80,000 yuan back. Safety became a haircut. Another company, Henning Silverhouse, also faced trouble around the same period. In 2025, silver prices rose sharply. Without proper hedging, the company reportedly bet prices would fall. Restocking costs surged, cash flow tightened, and it could not deliver precious metal materials to merchants. That case involved more than 10 million yuan, with over 350 merchants seeking compensation. Different names, different structures, same pressure point. Delayed delivery, leverage, customer money moving faster than real metal. And when prices shifted, the promise collapsed before the product arrived. This is why the Shuibei collapse matters beyond one market. It was not only about dishonest operators. It exposed a system where trust replaced custody. Deposits replaced delivery. And leverage disguised itself as opportunity. A storefront, a busy counter, and years in the market could not guarantee that metal actually existed. The most dangerous deals were the ones that looked slightly better than normal. A small discount, a delayed shipment, a promise from a familiar supplier. In a rising market, that promise could become a weapon. The business lesson is simple, but expensive. If someone offers a better price, there must be a reason. Maybe they earn from processing. Maybe they earn from service. Maybe they have a legitimate supply advantage. But if the reason is unclear, the discount is not a gift. It is a signal. In Shuibei, people chased tiny gains per gram and exposed themselves to total loss. They were not trying to get rich overnight. Many were trying to protect margins in a brutal market. The trap did not need greed. It only needed trust, pressure, and a payment made before delivery. Gold and silver did not betray these buyers. The paperwork did. The delayed delivery did. The belief that a trusted market could not fail did. The lesson is brutal. If an investment depends on someone else holding what you paid for, you do not own the asset. You own their honesty. And honesty can disappear overnight. Gold did not vanish from Shuibei. Trust did. If someone else can delay delivery, they can turn your safest asset into their exit plan.